is not going to happen. It's not realistic, and it's not a goal she should have set for herself. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sam. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here with me again this week. If you are new here and this is the first time you are seeing my face, welcome. I make weekly videos dissecting internet nonsense, so if you're into that type of thing or you like today's video, I hope that you'll consider liking and subscribing. It really helps out the channel and make sure that you never miss another upload from me. Today on the channel, we are going to be talking about another YouTuber, Amberlynn Reed, who we've talked about on the channel before. But Amber has had some stuff happening in her world that I thought could be a really good topic for the channel. So for anyone who doesn't know, since early July, I think right around the 4th, Amberlynn has been going through a breakup with her most recent partner, who we only know as either Feline or Wifey. And this breakup has not been easy for Amberlynn. I wouldn't say that any breakup is easy, but she's clearly turned to food as a coping mechanism. And I found that interesting because we've just seen prior to this breakup that Amberlynn was going through the weight loss surgery process in which she was getting therapy to learn coping skills. And something that stuck out to me during this weight loss surgery saga was that Amberlynn was so adamant that she no longer had binge eating disorder, or had never had issues with binge eating, even though just a few years prior she was claiming to have been diagnosed with binge eating disorder. And we talked about that a little bit here on the channel. I made a video on it because very early in her weight loss surgery conversations with the surgeons and the program she was in, she was angry at them that they wanted to slow her down. She was told that she would have to go 12 months binge free. And it was at that point when she learned that she suddenly didn't have binge eating disorder anymore, right? And she only had to do 12 therapy sessions to be able to be approved for weight loss surgery. And I made that original video because it was so clear to me that Amber had these issues with food, whether she believed in it or not, and that these doctors were right. She was not ready at that point in time for weight loss surgery without fixing the issues that she had with food. In her most recent vlogs, we're seeing Amber promise the audience that she's not self-sabotaging.
And I have just been hurting so much and just feeling so sad and just like, I don't want to say self-destructive, but I'm sure from an outside view, I look self-destructive. Promise I'm not.
Despite the fact that we just watched her sign up for Weight Watchers, like literally she did it on camera and then immediately ordered takeout the next day, despite setting goals for herself with those points. And I also know at this point in time, Amberlynn believes anyone who's reacting to her while she's going through this period of grief over this breakup is doing so in bad faith and sending bad vibes her way.
When people are grieving or mourning or just like thoroughly having like mental illness, I don't want to put it lightly, but like I'm obviously clearly going through something, and just for like so many people to put so much like bad vibes out there, and that I don't need to be kicked while I'm already down. And it seems like that's what all the reaction channels are doing.
But I'm not doing that at all. I don't wish any ill will towards Amberlynn Reed. I simply want to look at her patterns of behavior because it's clear to everyone except for Amber that she is indeed self-destructing. So let's talk about when this pattern of behavior first caught my attention, because it was actually pre-breakup that I noticed that Amber was sort of starting to go through these cyclical things that actually very closely resembled my own experiences with binge eating disorder. And for me, that started when she posted a video titled "Massive Grocery Haul, No Takeout Challenge, and Purging Clothes." And before we get too deep, just please take a look at this thumbnail, because how are you gonna title a video "No Takeout Challenge" and then post a thumbnail where you're clearly indulging in takeout? Now, buried at the end of this vlog, Amber is sipping on an icy and a large Diet Coke from McDonald's and telling us about how she's going to do a no takeout challenge.
I ordered this from McDonald's and I also got a Diet Coke, but it's like a little icy moment. I was hardcore craving it. Tomorrow, me and Feline are starting a no takeout challenge. The challenge literally consists of don't order it. Like, there's no goal, like go 10 days, go a week, go 30 days. There's none of that. It's like literally just don't order it. I'll talk a little bit more about it, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna get me a freaking icy because starting tomorrow, literally we're done.
I watched this vlog and I literally just stopped. I mean, it was right at the end of the video and I just shook my head, you guys. Like, Amberlynn has such a long history of claiming that she's self-aware of the issues that she has with food and that she knows so much about nutrition. And yet she continues on these cycles of these diet industry or fad diet trends, and these are trends that are actually triggering her emotional eating and binge eating issues. So I want to start this thing with a question. How many of you out there have decided new diet or new lifestyle starts on Monday? So you spend all weekend, especially Sunday night, eating all of your favorites, gorging on food more than you normally would, because come Monday, that thing is off limits. You're never allowed to have it again. So you might as well get as much of it as you possibly can before you have to say goodbye forever. Don't be ashamed. Raise your hands out there. Did you? I know you did. We all did. I have. And that thing actually has a name. What Amber's doing in that clip we just watched together is called Last Supper Syndrome. Because she's saying, I thought I might as well get this in now because starting tomorrow, no more. When we know that that is not how this thing is going to go for her at all. In her first vlog, she shares a little bit about this no takeout challenge and what she wants it to look like by telling us how she's going to quit the food that she's addicted to.
With food, you can't just stop eating food. But I put two and two together. I had like a little epiphany. And it's not like, yeah, duh, you can't stop eating food. But you can stop eating junk. You can stop eating foods from restaurants or fast food places. Like, you can stop the bad stuff because that is the stuff that I am talking about. That's the stuff I'm addicted to.
Then she reiterates, this is not a 3-day challenge, a 1-week challenge, a 1-month challenge. This is going to be a forever thing.
That's why I want to do this like no takeout challenge, and I want to talk a little bit more about it. So like today's day 1 of my no takeout challenge, and it's not like, oh my god, I want to go 30 days. It's just like, I don't want any food from any restaurant or any fast food place, whether I pick it up, whether I order it, whether I go there and sit there. I don't want that. That's not what I want. I don't want to Instacart or go to the grocery store and pick up candy and pick up chips and ice creams. Like, I don't want that.
And while this is noble and I get the thought pattern behind what she's trying to do here, she's literally setting herself up for an impossibility. Amber has admitted multiple times across the lifespan of her channel, and specifically within the last 3 or 4 years, that not only does she order takeout every single day, but sometimes she's ordering it multiple times per day. So to go ahead and say that you're never going to order takeout ever again for the rest of your life, just cold turkey, snap of a finger one day to the next, is not going to happen. It's not realistic, and it's not a goal she should have set for herself. She's setting herself up immediately to fail. And even though the no takeout challenge is bad enough in itself, she also has added new food rules for herself.
I want to do intermittent fasting. I notice that's like what helps me the best. So I fast for 16 hours, and usually out of those 16 hours, I'm probably sleeping like 7. So I'm fasting, like my awake hours of fasting could be anywhere from like 9, 12. It just depends on how much I sleep. Sometimes I sleep more, sometimes I sleep less. So it just all depends. But my eating window is 8 hours. Do not go over 2,000 calories. I will be doing daily weigh-in, so I did weigh in today. I want to drink 85 ounces of water. I have been so bad with my water intake lately, so that's going to be like super important to me. 30 minutes of exercise daily.
And the part that stuck out to me in all of this is that she set so many food rules, right? She's doing an 8-hour fasting window. She is going to not eat more than 2,000 calories a day. She wants to get 85 ounces of water every day. She's going to exercise for 30 minutes a day. All really good goals, but setting so many up all at the same time, again, is just a recipe for failure. And I've said this before, I know that there are a lot of dedicated Amberlynn Reid reaction channels. I am a consumer of a lot of them because I find them so interesting, and they all come at it from different takes. I do not want this to come across as beating a dead horse, but the truth of the matter is there are constantly new people coming to Amber's channel, and she does have supporters, right? Because there are people in the world who are coming to the internet and looking for people that look like them, that have similar experiences to them. And Amberlynn could be that person for some of these people who are following her. So it's important, I think, to recognize her sort of disordered behavior, especially around food and eating, because she's self-aware of it. She realizes that it's a bad thing. She's got a shame cycle. She's not actively doing anything to get out of it. And that's the part that I want to focus on. Amber, as we've just seen, has gone through Last Supper syndrome and then immediately gone in and set herself 4 or 5 very lofty goals compared to her current lifestyle, right? Which is very sedentary. She's ordering out multiple times a day. It's not going to end well. And these are all things that are completely unnecessary for her to focus on all at once, for her to lose weight from the size that she is right now. She could have easily picked 1 or 2 of these goals and really honed in and focused on them. So a good starting point could have been focusing on counting calories. I don't know how she came up with the 2,000 number. What I did that worked for me is I just gave myself time to figure out how many calories I was eating, and it was a lot. And then I slowly backed those down every week. So I backed it down by 200 calories. And then the next week I backed it down by 300 calories, like over the whole day. And I just kept doing that until I started to get comfortable. And I focused on water intake. So she could have easily focused on those 2 until she became comfortable and confident enough in maintaining those to add a 3rd ball to that juggle, right? Of adding in exercise or focusing on changing her sleep schedule, all things that will ultimately help her. Because when you set so many goals all at once, it's so easy that if one ball drops from that juggle you have going, you just tend to say, well, I messed it up, so I might as well just drop all of them and just go back to my old habits. And if you've watched Amber's channel or any of the videos that have been made about her, you know that she's living this cycle over and over again. And she just keeps doing the same things and expecting different results. But what she ultimately gets is the same result every time, and that is where she is currently. In this vlog, I really wanted to draw attention to this point that she makes.
Like no cheat meals, because that just like completely triggers me. Because usually when I get like on a plan and stuff, I tell myself, okay, well, I'll just have like 1 cheat meal a week. You know, it'll be every Saturday or it'll be every Wednesday. But by doing that, it like puts the food addiction feeling back in me. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say, but then it's like I relapse and then I go on a path for like a week, sometimes a month, and it's like I cannot like get a grip. So it's like, why even have a cheat meal if I know it's just gonna derail me completely? That's literally it. Like, cheat meals are not good for me. For some people it works fine, but the minute I get something in my mouth that I'm like addicted to, it's over.
Oh, the way that I understand what she is trying to say here. And the reason I understand that is that I dealt with binge eating disorder and food addiction issues, both of which Amber claims not to have a problem with. Binging behavior tends to be activated by a fear of having to change your entire lifestyle overnight, cold turkey, getting rid of your favorite foods or your favorite things, or food and things that you find comfort in, right? That will automatically sort of activate that behavior in your brain. And I wholeheartedly believe that Amber does have issues with binge eating and food addiction based on her history of yo-yo dieting, and just the things that we're seeing here, where she clearly has a lack of good coping skills. Because as I mentioned, Amber just went through 12 therapy sessions as a part of this weight loss surgery program, or at least that's what she was telling us she was doing, because she really wanted to get this weight loss surgery and get this weight off. It was about saving her life. All of these really noble things, right? And she got all the way through these therapy sessions, got to the point that she was approved according to her, and then she decided to change her mind. And all I've seen watching her content post breakup is that somehow she went through all of that therapy and at the end still didn't have any good coping mechanisms to keep her from emotional eating. Since that breakup, we've seen her binge cycle happening over and over and over again, whether she knows it or not.
Even like when me and like my ex broke up, like all I did was order takeout, and literally that's all I've been doing. I have probably gained some weight for sure. I've been having Olive Garden, McDonald's, like it has been not good. I have definitely turned to food the last few days for comfort, and I don't want to do that anymore.
And we just saw her admit that this is how she's coped with previous breakups. So how can you claim that these programs you're working with, where you're going to therapy and you're learning new things and becoming a new person, that you still have the same coping mechanisms that you run to that you did when you broke up with someone else 2 years ago? There's a disconnect there, right? Clearly there hasn't been that much growth if that was your coping mechanism then and is still your coping mechanism now, even though you've officially been through these therapy sessions for part of that weight loss surgery. Because since that original We Broke Up video come out, we have seen her throw this no takeout challenge, these sort of food rules that she had, these plans for herself and these hopes and dreams that she has thrown them all out the window, and has been self-sabotaging by ordering a bunch of takeout and signing up for Weight Watchers, right? We literally watched her sign up for Weight Watchers in a vlog. She paid for 6 months up front and then immediately wasted that money by going and ordering takeout on the first day and eating beyond her points allowance. Everything that we've talked about in this video is the result, like it is a binge cycle. We're literally watching a binge cycle, which involves eating the food.
Are so good. Their honey walnut shrimp slaps. So sometimes their chow mein is good and sometimes it tastes like refrigerator. So moment of truth has occurred.
Feeling guilt and shame about it.
I don't know. I just keep gaining weight. Screw the 56 pounds. Screw the popsicle sticks. I'm not doing good. I have to do something. I have to. Like, I have to do something. Something is better than nothing, and I'm currently doing nothing.
And then claiming you're going to change your life this time. Something is going to change inside of you. You're going to be able to overcome this thing by just following this diet or just following these food rules.
So the best thing I know how to do is Weight Watchers. I'm on my computer right now. We're gonna do Weight Watchers. I am going to join Weight Watchers because it's all I know. It's all I know. And it's better than nothing. Like, I truly have to be doing something. I have to figure it out
before you binge again.
So I also got a diet. Of course I did. I've been back to drinking caffeine lately. That's a paper straw. Not my favorite thing in my mouth. And then, what is this? There's like a popsicle stick in there. Weird. Here are my cheese fries. Ooh, that's good. And then my plain Jane burger, but this is like literally the best way. Little thingies in here. They're like taquitos.
That is the cycle. And it's a cycle I know well because I lived it for a long, long time. And it is a hard one to live through and to get yourself out of, but the truth is you can. It just takes work and time and effort. And I sincerely hope that Amber can get herself out of this. She is totally capable of doing that, but in order to do that, she has got to start getting real with herself. I shared with you guys that clip where she promised that she was not self-sabotaging. And while I was watching that, I literally was like, girl, we're watching you self-destruct online right now. You're ordering takeout, you're crying about your weight gain and things that are happening, reminding us that you're slipping into bad habits. That is literally you self-sabotaging, going through a shame cycle, promising you're going to change it, and then falling back in. The thing is, Amber is somewhat self-aware of what is happening to her, right? It's why she continues to talk to us about food addiction and trying to overcome that. It's also why we see her journaling multiple times in these vlogs, because you know a girl loves to journal, about her hopes and her dreams and the things that she wants to happen in her future. She says she's hopeful for weight loss. She's hopeful for a better relationship with food. But the thing is, the only person who can make that happen is Amber. And for it to go beyond just self-awareness and just a dream, she has to actively act upon that. All right, that is all I have to say about this. I was watching her vlogs just trying to get caught up because I knew there was some drama happening. And you guys, I was like, I'm literally watching the binge cycle through each of these vlogs. So I couldn't not share it. At this point, I'm curious to know, have you guys been catching up with Amber? I know things have been heating up on that side of the internet, so people are just like flocking over to watch. I mean, myself included, so no judgment here for me. But I'm curious, if you have been watching, did you notice any of these patterns? Did you recognize this sort of cycle of disordered eating and self-sabotage? Have you seen her do it before, if you've been a longtime watcher of Amberlynn Reid? I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. And if you're still here, go ahead and leave me a facepalm emoji, because honestly, facepalm is how I feel while I'm watching these things. Because again, she's so self-aware. But as my wise therapist once told me, self-awareness will only get you so far. Like, you have to act upon it or it doesn't mean anything. Thank you all so much for being here again with me this week. I will see you in the next one. Bye.